everybody, and welcome to our no longer bi-weekly Devstream. My name is Matt, and with me is Julian.
Hi.
Max? Max?
Miax. Yep.
And Mark. We have three people with one-syllable M names in the stream. I just want
That's how
to
you know
point
it's
that
going to
out.
be good.
How's everybody doing today? In the chat and in the panel here. What are we talking about today, Mark?
Yeah, we're talking about update 47. So this update was interesting. It started off with just two small pieces of content, and we eventually added in more things. But to sort of set expectations, this is very different from what we showed off on the last stream, which was our big update, which happens once or twice a year, right? So this update is not going to be anywhere near as big as the last update. This is more of a smaller update with some cool things thrown in. But a big theme here for this update is we wanted to go back and really improve upon some old features. There was a bunch of loose ends from some of the big updates in the past and things that we always want to go back and fix, and we never had the chance to. So this update is really before we head off with other big new features. We want to go back and address some of the feedback we got on some of the old features there, and also to just knock off those loose ends that have been at the back of our mind for like years in some cases. So I'm these things always start off as like, hey, this update is kind of cool, and then towards the end it's like, hey, it's kind of exciting, so yeah.
You say small update. I say a little less than small update.
Small to medium.
Small to medium.
All right. Do you guys, Max, Julian, do you have anything you want to say, or should we move into it?
I'm most excited for the very first thing we're going to be showing.
Me as well. Yeah,
it's
we definitely led
of all of the things. We're leading with the best, right? So
yeah, mind-blowing feature is about to be shown here.
I think you guys are wrong, but we'll.
New binoculars.
Binocular visual update.
Now, some people are going to question this decision, okay? Because they're like a pixel on the screen, but there might just hold your horses.
Yes, there's a reason for that.
Spoiler.
I think the bigger thing that players are actually going to care about is the camera speed, right? So this is, again, going back, we obviously changed, we moved to a new camera in update 46, and we want to go back and address some of the feedback there. We've heard a lot of feedback about how the binoculars in particular, the snapback speed when you want the camera to return back to your character was too slow. So we spent a bunch of time in fine-tuning that and making sure that it's as responsive, if not more responsive, than what it was before update 46. So
and the visual update was because one of the modelers had a day where he was blocked on something else, or he was waiting for a test on something else. So we were like, just update those ugly old yellow binoculars.
That was one of the first things we ever put in the game. It's as old as the rifle. Like, it's one of the first things we put in.
Yeah. So we got rid of the hideous old yellow shape that was the binoculars.
And our reference was like one of the developers just like took a picture of their binoculars and held it up, and everybody was like, "Hey, we all have that same one."
Yeah.
Cool. So next epic, insane change that's coming is going to blow your mind, guys. Okay,
yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Warden default pistol. How about that? Huh?
The ATI Model 2. We finally have faction specific. The faction specific weapons are pretty much all there now, I think.
Yeah, and this is another thing.
Not shotguns. On a faction specific shotgun. Yeah.
Oh damn!
Yeah, what's up with the shotgun?
We still
yeah,
have that Walking Dead shotgun.
Ball on it. We dropped the ball on the shotguns.
Yeah, so there is a reason though why some of these like smaller models are actually going to matter a bit more now, and But before we get into that, I never know quite the ordering of these slides.
Even though you
You make it.
Even though I make them, right? Before we get into that, there's some changes coming to prototypes. So this does affect how the tech tree works in a way. But the major goal was we really want to encourage more use of prototypes because prototypes was an idea that we tried out and it didn't really work out that well, and we really wanted to take a second go at it. So a couple of changes off the bat. Prototypes are going to be much more easy to make. So you're not so much having to go out there and try to grind really hard to produce a prototype. It's sort of if you have the resources, the iron, your tech mats, you're basically going to get a free prototypes, and you can repair them now. And to balance it out, their armor is going to be a bit weaker, and their health is already a bit weaker. But outside of that, they're pretty close to the actual vehicle itself, right? So it's pretty much like once you can get a prototype kit, you can have a tank or like an armored car in your hands there. And not only that, but you can have it basically before anyone else can mass produce it. And the other thing that we want to do was really encourage players to freely spend their materials instead of trying to save them. So a separate resource is going to be used for, which is copper. It's going to be used for the later side of the tech tree with things like tanks, so that if you're starting out and you want to make that armored car or some other early vehicle, you can feel free to spend those and make your prototype and not worry that you're missing out on something there. And that's kind of it for the prototypes.
And that's the update.
Thanks for coming out to our dev stream. We'll see you guys in another few months.